Brandi Short, the daughter of the former sheriff of Pasco County, Florida. And so we've got a lot going on in Pasco County with Chris Nicola. How you doing, Brandi?
I am doing pretty good. Thank you.
Good. Well,
Yeah,
we've
hang in there.
a lot of hanging in there. It's what we're all doing, and I'll tell you, it's not an easy position to be in, to be a victim of organized targeting, as we both are, and of course I'm speaking for millions across this nation because of this program. It's not just isolated to where you are in Pasco County. So you had made some complaints apparently. So fill us in with about what did you make a complaint or what have you,
Yes.
and then Pasco County decided they would give you some attention.
Yes. There is four there right now. There was one I missed actually. I got to get that one over there. But yes, I was there on Friday. They did a sworn interview, and I haven't heard anything. I know one of the witnesses I had called me last night and said
What was the sworn interview about?
it was about the four complaints that I had. I believe we spoke last time. It was about the me being denied medical attention in the jail while I'm detoxing, throwing up on the floor.
Oh,
Then,
that's right. That's right.
yes,
And they paraded you naked in
yes,
front of the male officers and so forth.
yes,
Okay.
yes. So we then there was another incident where they had someone had knocked on my window when I'm at a light and they told me I was swerving. I think we talked about this. And as I pull in, there's a deputy there and they demand I get out of the car. And they didn't even pull me over. And then they want to search it. So I let them. They didn't find anything. They tell me to park it. And then they tow it.
Then they tow it.
So, yes. I mean, I could go into more detail, but that's a short version of what happened.
And so, how much
And
did that
it's
cost
just,
you? The tow you had to pay to get your car out.
yes, actually, my mother did. She had to go to Tarpon to get it out. It's just an total and complete inconvenience.
Well, it's more than inconvenience.
Yes,
Since I don't know if this has happened since we spoke last, but I had a similar incident with Lee County, Mississippi. Not to be confused with Lee County, Florida, which is just as, if not more, corrupt than Lee County, Mississippi. Lee County is where Fort Myers is, but they and I live in Union County, so they're serving a warrant for my arrest out of Lee County for something, uh, malicious mischief, which is a catch-all charge that if they just if they just can't make anything else fit, that they use that, and that's kind of a blanket charge. You
hmm
you kick somebody's cat to you blew somebody's brains out or something along that line. They malicious mischief, and so they just try to make it fit. But this made up deal, and so they obtained a search warrant to get. They wanted the cameras out of my car. Of course they do, because I document when I'm rolling. My cameras are rolling because of the relentless stalking and creeping by this community oriented policing scam that they're running. And the search warrant and the arrest warrant were signed a day after I was arrested. And they towed my vehicle about 20, 25 miles away from my residence just so they could remove the cameras. And of course, that was illegal. It wasn't a warrant to tow my vehicle to get the cameras out of it. And mind you, these individuals were already named in a federal lawsuit, and digital information, electronic and digital information, is part of the order, standing order, that should be preserved. Well, this is digital information that they wanted not to preserve. That's why they towed my car illegally and kept me in jail, forced, wouldn't give me my medication. I was subsequently hospitalized for a forced stroke that I incurred in this county jail. And that lawsuit, federal lawsuit, is now in full swing, and they've answered it. Of course, their attorneys are no better than the attorneys that are representing Pasco County when they say they're looking forward to answering these complaints. And of course, they're looking forward to the big fat paychecks they're getting from the insurance companies. The sheriff's department is insured, but all of this is paid for by the taxpayer. So that was about $1,000 that it cost me to get my car that they were holding hostage. And they did that to cause, and they did cause a tremendous financial burden of not only myself and my family. Same deal with you, how much it costs to get your vehicle out. But this is what they do, is they, whether or not you get charged or you go to court, the damage is done. You've been tortured in jail. You've been physically and mentally abused and traumatized. And these are irreparable damages. You've been financially dragged. And so if he ever goes to court, they've already gotten their lick in. And this is Gestapo behavior. This is criminal, communist behavior happening right here in the United States.
Yes, absolutely it is. I even ordered, I wanted to know, because I hadn't been arrested. It seems like from 2018 to 2019, they would not stop. And it's taken me that long to recover to actually file these complaints.
They wouldn't stop what? The harassment?
Yeah, the arrest.
Exactly.
I mean,
That's exactly. You're not alone. I just want you to know you're not alone in that. I couldn't tell you if my life depended on it right now. If somebody said, how many times have you been arrested in the last 18 months? I couldn't tell you. I could not give you an exact number. That is done on purpose. You see, Brandi, to make you and I and so many others look like, make the victim look like the criminal.
right.
Well, they're going to jail all the time. They're out there on dope. They're crazy. They're, whatever they throw in there.
Yeah.
And this is abuse of power, and it's abuse that that the citizens need to be aware of. And that's what we're doing, is exposing what this corruption is doing and who they're voting for and why they should demand that these people be prosecuted.
Yes. I mean, it's like everybody in this county is telling me to be quiet. I don't know how
Why do
large.
they tell you? Yeah, yeah. They want you to shut up because there's too many people that have their fingers in the till. There's too many people that are benefiting from this. Attorneys are benefiting. The jail, the whole system is getting just flooded with federal tax dollars, grant money, and everybody's getting a piece of the pie. And God forbid anybody upset that apple cart.
Right. And it's like with the like, I don't know, it's been 10 years since he's been there. And it's like, I was involved in this case 2 years ago, I guess, and not really involved, but I guess you could say in the background. And it's like they blamed this person for all the everything that was wrong. the overdoses are high, 71% higher today here
What overdoses are you talking about?
in Pasco on the fentanyl crisis here. They're
Right?
71% higher than in 2018. Because I was involved in the recovery community, but I am blackballed now from the recovery community too.
Oh, because yeah. Did
Because
you
I guess I want to help the people. That's how I feel. I feel like I am
right?
blackballed. Yeah.
Well, you're not alone in that either. So you're blackballed from the recovery community. That's in other words, the very mechanism that is supposedly there to help individuals, they don't want you have any part of that.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
well, the community here, we have these religious, faith-based, if you will, nonprofit rehabilitation ranches and centers that are backed by churches that depend on filling the beds.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way they can do that is we have to have a pipeline of drugs, drug abuse, overdose, deaths, murders. We have to have all of that working in order for that type of business to be a viable deal. So it's the perfect paradigm. And so these people are really and truly, Brandi, are not concerned about stopping fentanyl abuse and saving lives because that would put them out of business. I
Right.
mean, if would you agree with that?
Yes. Yes.
And so that is, and that these are people posing, ladies and gentlemen, as God-fearing people, and and church members, and you see these 501(c) nonprofit religious organizations enjoy zero scrutiny. There's no scrutiny from the IRS. They don't question it, what they're doing. They're not accountable for their actions, what they do. Things. It says we lost connection. Are you still with me?
Yes. Yes. I'm here.
Uh, oh, okay. I promise you, Homeland Security is doing everything they can to stop us from talking.
Yes. That's a whole
So we've
nother.
got just a little bit of.
Yes.
So I mean, I don't ever have any issues until I start talking about things they absolutely do not want us talking about. That's a
Yes.
fact.
Yes.
That's a fact. And you sent me this article, and it says a Pasco County woman is suing Pasco Sheriff Chris Nakoa after she said deputies enforcing the agency's controversial intelligent-led policing ILP program violated her constitutional rights. Since
Yes.
she's the latest Pasco resident to accuse Pasco County Sheriff's Office of violating constitutional protections through its predictive policing program. It says Kate
Yes.
said deputies searching her son, who was on parole related to an aggravated stalking conviction, engaged in a campaign of intimidation and harassment in an effort to keep tabs on her son. And of course, this meant this. We can go on and read where they target the entire family, their friends, their whole network, and
Yes.
they target them by relentless harassment and stalking and so forth. And then also, I just printed this 170 page. This is the latest. I'm going to say this is number 5 against Christacoa, Pasco County. And folks, this is fresh off press. But this is a little different. And what this lawsuit and this federal action, and this is important for everyone to hear this part. is it's a civil RICO claim which requires the plaintiff to demonstrate that the defendant, which is the Pasco County Sheriff's Department, has engaged in a pattern of misconduct called racketeering under the RICO statutes. Pattern of racketeering activity requires at least 2 acts of racketeering activity committed within 10 years of each other. The civil action for RICO is defined in 18 USCA 1964. Any person injured in this business or property by reason of violation of section 1962 or its chapter may recover threefold damages, etc., etc., etc. This is the primer, if you will, this lawsuit. Now, we already know that the Department of Justice has an investigation, ongoing investigation against Chris Nakoa since the first lawsuit that was brought with the Institute of Justice behind the Tampa Bay Journal, I believe it was, the article that that the lady got a Pulitzer Prize for, and they after that there was 3 additional lawsuits. Now this lawsuit, which to best I can count, that's 5. Now they've got a Department of Justice criminal investigation, but Chris Nakoa is still standing firm, and he's not changing his tune at all. He is defiant, and that is that what's going on? Is that the sense down there in Pasco County, that this sheriff is defiant and refusing to waver on his Stasi program that he's running and torturing citizens?
That was my question. I haven't heard a thing, and I look and I don't see, and everyone around me, I've been pretty much isolated for months now. And it's like, I can't get people to, my family members call me, tell me to be quiet. No, I'm not. I've had to deal with this mess for 45 years. Where have you, no, I'm not. So I also, I don't know. I don't know. I don't see anything about it anywhere. I've never met the man. I've never heard any defense of his, anything at all. I do know this profiling system, though. I want to know what's in there. And I made a records request on Friday to know what is in there when they bring up my name, because I don't understand. I had never been arrested before in my life. I was in the city of Newport Richie in 2007, and I was arrested. And the officer told me that my grandfather took his job. So that was basically the reason for my arrest.
Oh my God.
And then, so 2007, and I'm living in the city of Newport Richie. I have complaints about the city of Newport Richie. I escaped to Pasco, and it's like I'm dealing with the same thing.
Right. Well, Brandi, I could tell you, you could leave today and go to Los Angeles, California, and God forbid you'd ever make that mistake. But it's a national network, a criminal network. Yes. This is how the criminal enterprise stands. You see, we have these deplorables in the Department of Justice, including the FBI, that believe that they know what's best for America, and they despise the Constitution. They despise civil liberties. They despise our judicial system of innocent until proven guilty. They despise that. So the only way they can effectively circumvent that is for everyone to stay on the same page. God forbid someone get off or color outside of the lines, they too will be destroyed. And we have to look no further than former field supervisor and agent that's deceased now, Ted Gunderson, that testified about the facts of this program to Congress. He himself, a 30-year FBI veteran, was targeted himself. And they targeted him relentlessly. So they will feed and devour their own, just like they do with the veterans. There's 22 suicides a day, 22 a day. And it's veterans participating in this program targeting other veterans. Now, it's 22 suicides a day of veterans. We don't hear them talking about that either, Brandi. You don't hear, I don't, what they're talking about. So it shouldn't surprise you that they're not talking about this going on in Pasco County, because there's too many people that have mud, or shall I say blood, on their hands, and they're benefiting from this program. It's all about the money. And they always use, well, we're going to make our neighborhoods and our city or our county safer. Now, the adjacent counties there to Pasco saw a tremendous decrease in crime across the board. The same time, Krishnakoa and Pasco is reporting a decrease in crime with their predictive-led policing. But these other counties that claim they're not running this predictive-led policing program also had it. So it had nothing to do with that. No. So in other words, they're doing it supposedly on its face. They're doing it the right way, and they're seeing a decrease in crime. But we have these people, these egotistical criminal maniacs like Chris Nakoa, that believes that he knows best and he's going to do it, and damn the results, damn what the federal court says, damn what the Justice Department says, and damn anybody that dare defy it. So they had you in, and so you gave a sworn statement. And yes. How long did that interview last?
It was about, I'd say maybe an hour, 45 minutes, an hour. And there was a girl that I put as a witness. She called me last night and said they called her. And she gave him the information. I'm going to stay on it. I also requested what was in their computer about me too, because it doesn't make.
Did you do a FOIA, or how did a Freedom of Information Act request, or how did you request that?
I did it online through the Sheriff's Department. That's where they told me to do it when I was in my interview, because they have small information wrong on there. But my point is, if this is wrong, what else is wrong? And why are they treating me like that?
Did you ask them why you were being targeted and harassed?
I did not specifically. We just went over the specifics of each complaint, and they said
the complaint.
Yes.
So this was internal affairs or something like that with Pasco County?
Yeah, she's actually Inspector Christensen. She's actually on that lawsuit as well. So.
She is.
Yes.
Imagine that. So Fox Garden Hen House. So you're let me see. Look at this. She sure is Inspector Jennifer Christensen, and she's right here, folks. And she's named in a RICO federal lawsuit as participating in crimes against humanity. And so, how does that make you feel? So you've got Hitler Jr. in there doing the interview. Yeah, were you offered? Did you have an attorney present with you or anything like that?
I did not. Actually, I'm looking for an attorney. I guess I can contact one of the people on there, but I feel literally like it's me against this entire county right now. I do.
Yeah, and you, and let me tell you, you are so close to being correct that you are correct. It's you've probably tried to get an attorney before, and you get tired of telling the story because you get tired of being ignored. They don't return your call, or they won't take the case. Is that kind of what you get?
It's a separate issue. The hacking into my computer, my Wi-Fi. I have stacks of evidence. I contacted the FBI last year. It's been about a year. I have not heard from them.
IC3.gov. Yeah, that's a joke. They tell you to go to IC3.gov and do the complaint. And of course, I think it's in the small print. You're not going to hear back from us. We won't tell you anything. And, you know, it's just, it's pomp and circumstance. In other words, you know, the hacking still continues, or?
I don't have Wi-Fi anymore. I had to move. I had to sell my condo, sell my car. They took my disability from me after 9 years. They
Oh my
canceled it
God.
in December, but they paid me till February. Things got really bad at my condo, so I moved. I can't go into the details right now, but I can't prove it physically. So I'd rather wait until I can. But I've
Right.
had
They're
to
going to
really
do,
just,
they're going to do so much. The deal is this, the chaos that they create, Brandi. They create
yeah,
so much chaos. And this is done through the community oriented policing, where you have members of the community. Remember, these are state actors because they're all conspiring and working together off of a playbook and instructions of what to do. So you'll always have so much uh, criminal fluff, if you will. That's when uh, you may uh, encounter a marching band outside of your house every night at midnight. You know, well, that's bizarre, and doing crazy things. And of course, when you report it, I've got a high school marching band again out here on my front lawn, and and they said this lady keeps calling about a band playing in her front lawn. Well, how's that? Immediately they said, well, she's crazy, because that, of course, they
hmm
can't, would never believe that. No, if you'll just come out here. And of course, by the time they get out there, marching band is marched off because it took them 2 hours to get out there. So
right.
that, so in other words, the program is designed for you to look as if you're unhinged and mentally unstable.
Yes,
So,
yeah.
and
They
but
also
the
Baker acted
people
me
that are
too.
unhinged and mentally unstable, let me clarify this. There are people that are unhinged and mentally unstable. And these are the people that are getting paid by our tax dollars, these assholes with badges, with protect and serve on the side of their vehicle, that took oaths, that lied to protect the Constitution that they hate. So these are the unhinged 5150 criminals that we want to expose.
Yes. Yeah. And in the middle of this chaos, they Baker acted me too. And I get it. They don't want me to speak. And once
No. What they Baker at? You're dangerous, danger yourself and others.
yes.
I mean, how about this? How about Chris Nicola signing up to just get an electric chair and do the whole country and the state a favor?
I don't understand. I know and I know it's not an indictment. However, that's a pretty big lawsuit. And the
It
complaints that I
is.
had are
It is.
incredible.
It is. Brady, it is an indictment per se. It is an indictment. It's a testament to, finally, we are seeing attorneys doing what attorneys should be doing. Finally, we're seeing attorneys that are growing a set and that are representing these individuals, and they're doing it and they're in first class fashion, I'm telling you. And I'll tell you the reason that now these other attorneys are jumping in. It's it's the script has been flipped as this program operates, and the victim is the drop of blood in the water of the shark, in the pool of sharks, and how the feeding frenzy starts. And this is community oriented policing. But now the sharks have become the victims and the victims' attorneys. You and I, and so many other across this nation, that said, we will not quit. We will not give up. We will fight. You have your opinions. You can call me crazy. you can do whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And you can make me lose everything I have.
Mm-hmm.
But there's the problem, Brandi. When they have people like you and I and so many others that I talk to on a daily basis, the odds are not in their favor because you have some
Right.
people that are going to come after you, and they're going to come after you relentlessly.
Mm-hmm.
And they have what to lose? Nothing, because you took it all. We ain't got a damn thing to lose. So we're all
Mm-hmm.
in on
Yeah.
exposing these people.
Yes. I absolutely am. I know people who have gone through this and they're not here anymore. They're not alive.
I do
Yeah.
too. I do as well. It's very real. I've said it, and and ladies and gentlemen, you need to understand what she just said. She knows people that are no longer with us. This program is a government funded and sanctioned program to systematically destroy, annihilate, murder American citizens. That's what's going on.
And
And
in my
that's what
opinion,
we're talking about.
I think they want people to go crazy. You know what I'm really, and that
Well,
is
they
sick
want you
when
to
you think
appear
about
that
it.
we have a problem, an epidemic of mass confusion,
Right.
mass delusions, which is, if there's no they were, how in the hell can you be experiencing the same thing in Florida that I'm experiencing in Mississippi, and when I travel this nation, but we're experiencing the same thing. So we're having this the same delusion. Of course, it's not a delusion. This is reality. Some
Mm-hmm.
people choose because they don't understand it.
Right.
And here's what they don't understand, Brandi, is because the program has so many elements, so many actors, so many storylines, and so much BS to confuse the victim, that it's makes it nearly impossible for the victim to properly articulate who is doing what.
Right.
And it's always a question, well, what have you done to cause this? You probably get that. I get it a lot, or people insinuate that
Mhm.
somehow I've done something wrong, or I've brought this on myself.
Right.
And that is, of course, it's insulting and objectionable. That is the same rationale as telling a young girl, well, if you wouldn't wear such short skirts, you wouldn't get raped as much. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's really your fault for wearing the short skirt. That's that mentality. This
Yeah.
is the mentality, 2022 in the United States of America.
It is. It's really insulting. And I was born here. My father was a sheriff the year I was born. This place in the past 20, 25 years is just destroyed. There's not even a homeless shelter here for people to go to. I
Oh no,
take a
they
walk
don't
and
want homeless shelters.
there's a
And I can
man.
tell you, in Tupelo, Mississippi, I met some. I interviewed some young people that are homeless, but I met some last week. A different group. It's hot here,
Hmm.
like it is where you are. I mean, it's hot,
Yeah.
and they. I met two brothers that were living under a huge tree, a couple of trees, and sleeping on cardboard, and their mother uh, had uh, died unexpectedly. Their dad had already died, and these guys were maybe 30, in their 30s, and they had no money, no family. They they're able to eat by going to the Salvation Army to get fed only, but the Salvation Army has ran out of room. They said
Hmm.
the earliest they could expect to have a bed would be wintertime. They'd have to make it through the summer. And I'm talking about mosquitoes and all the stuff that you have to endure here. And they have they do not have access to running water to be able to take a shower. They have to use the go into a local Walmart and bathe in the restroom. This is America, folks. These two brothers were not on dope. They weren't dope addicts. They that was not an issue. They ran into unfortunate circumstances that we're in the buckle of the Bible Belt, where they've got these cult boot camps, rehabs, where they run them through these 12-step programs that don't line up with the Bible or God's word. And yet, in small town USA, we've got these people living and from day to day living out in the elements. And people will say, expect it to be somebody else's job. And of course, did you say Pasco County? In what city? There's no homeless shelters. They closed those down. They don't want those people there, but there's homeless people. So what are
Yes,
the
there's
homeless
people
people
living
doing?
in woods now. They're on they I don't think there's ever been one here, to be honest with you. But now, I mean, I don't know if you remember Live PD. I couldn't stand that show. It's like you talk about the Bible. They're putting the least of these, right? Isn't that in the Bible? Take care of the least of these. But they're putting them
Right.
on
Jesus
TV and
says,
laughing at them.
exactly. I've never seen that. And it was like the cops program that was so successful. And I absolutely, uh, that was the most deplorable of the deplorables, because all it did was exploit. You never saw anything on the cops program where they actually solved a crime or arrested a real criminal. They would take them straight to where someone was mentally unstable or people or a homeless person, and just make a scene,
Yeah,
all for television. They exploit them. And
yeah,
those people that were behind those things that have that mentality, um, there's a place, I'm quite convinced, in hell just for them. Whether they
yeah.
believe hell's real or not makes no difference. And there's a whole lot of things that they're going to be surprised about. But you can rest
Yeah.
assured, hell is real. And Jesus did
Yes.
say, "Whatsoever you do unto the least of these, you've done it to me."
Yes,
And
exactly.
so, is that what Jesus would do? Don't have a homeless shelter. Let's make people miserable.
Mm-hmm.
Let's cause them, Brandi, to lose their Social Security, lose their home, lose their everything. And that's the godly thing to do. So apparently, there's very few, if any, godly people in Pasco County, Florida, just like North Mississippi. There's plenty of them that claim,
Right.
but actions speak louder than words.
Exactly. It's like people love to say it, but what are you doing? They love to advertise it, but what are you doing? And to me, the lie, I couldn't stand it. I couldn't watch it, but I know people sat back and watched these people suffer when they should have been getting help by the sheriff's department and other people. And it bothered me. And I don't know if they were following me or listening to me, but I complained about it years ago.
Of course, of
And
course.
I don't care. They're just going to expose themselves now because I'm not going to be quiet. And I think it's disgusting what they did with Live PD. I do.
Well,
And
I
the other
think it is.
treatment to everybody and
I,
me.
I,
So,
I totally agree. I totally agree. And I've in correspondence, of course, with a lot of people across the country, and is this is a serious problem.
hmm
This is what I toil with daily. I don't know what the next person what they have to deal with, but at the end of the day, every day, I I I pray. I feel, well, God, I haven't done enough, because each day that passes, that action is not taken to turn the tide of this criminal behavior, people are suffering and more people will die.
Yes.
That's a fact. And I did a story on Austin Hines, a 19-year-old that was murdered and gunned down by Lowndes County, Mississippi law enforcement. 19 years old. They shot him multiple times and finally finished him off with a shotgun blast to the face, and he wasn't armed.
Mm.
But only one officer has been suspended with pay. There is a wrongful death lawsuit. But other than that, it's still business as usual in Lowndes County, Mississippi, including the parents that are divorced, living separately, but are being targeted and relentlessly targeted and harassed, and all of this at the courtesy of their son's murderers. And folks, when is enough enough? You can't let they had to cremate Austin. And now the parents can't even grieve because you are harassing and making their lives hell as well. They're doing all of this to cover their ass. And this, Brandi, is why they want you to shut up in Pasco County.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not telling you that it's going to get any easier, but I am telling you that being that you didn't sign up for this deal, but you're in it, just like I am. And so that being said, that's the hand we're dealt.
Yes. And
Don't
I'm
fold.
not
Don't
quiet.
throw. Don't ever fold. You
No,
play
no
that
way.
damn hand. You play that hand, and
Yes.
you play it, and by God, you play it, and you keep playing it, but you don't
Yes.
fold. As long as you don't fold, you are winning. We
Yes.
are winning. It's when
Yes.
we fold is when we are actually losing.
Yes.
Even when you think you have no choice to fold, you don't fold.
Oh,
And
I'm not.
I said
They've
this
already
yesterday,
taken.
huh?
They've already taken everything from me. There's nothing left to take. So I'm more determined today. I pray almost not all day, but every day, all the time. I'm doing what I can, everything I can to make this stop, and I'm not giving up. So they might as well just leave me alone. But
Amen. And that I tell you, and it is uh, and so and that they're going to keep trying to
yeah.
take. But here's what they want, they can't have.
Mm-hmm.
They can't take it. And that's what we're doing right now. That's what they're seeing right now. This is what they would like to stop, but they can't stop that. But to break a child of God means they would have to break God's spirit. Good luck with that, COPS
Yes.
program. Good luck with that, Chris Nakoa.
Yes.
That was defeated at the cross, and that's what we claimed, and that's what we're going to continue to do. And we're going to
Yes.
continue to expose these people. And Brandi, you need to continue to speak out. And of course, I'm going to continue to make sure that I do everything I can here
Yes.
to give the exposure that we need, especially in Pasco County. And for those in Pasco County, Florida, you need to be contacting your state representatives, your congressman, and DeSantis, and be talking to them about what are you going to do about this? Why aren't they talking about it? What are they talking about? I mean, what else could be bigger in the news other than crimes against humanity? I
I,
can't
I
imagine.
I agree, and I thank you because I haven't heard a thing from anybody. It's just been silent. So I appreciate you doing this, giving me an opportunity to speak about it because you're the only person I've spoken to. So thank you.
Well, Brandi, I appreciate you coming on, and I'm going to have you back on real soon. And I'm going to tell
Okay.
you the last interview. Uh, there's a lot of people uh, that that did know who and didn't know what, but they do now.
Hmm.
And and so there are a lot of people listening to Brandi Short in Pasco County, Florida, folks. And she's the daughter of the former sheriff of Pasco County. Now, what has your dad? Has he? Uh, what does he have
I
to say about this?
I honestly I haven't with everything going on, I haven't been able to communicate with him about this yet. Um
He's aware
there's
that there's problems, right?
he is, yes. I just kind of want to give it a little bit of yeah, time
Yeah.
before yeah, there's
It's a big.
yes.
It's. I understand. It's a big. It's a big deal, and
Yes.
I'm going to tell you that my hunch is this. I'm quite sure that your dad knows what's going on. And it's probably very possible that he has had a bigger picture of the demon that we're exposing than we have. In other words,
Hmm.
that I can imagine a person that knows and has seen and understands way more in depth of the diabolical criminal element and the evil behind this program, uh, that it's they really will remain silent because it is, and that tells me that it is a big monster. I'm sure he's well aware of that.
I mean
They they tried to they tried to. He was indicted. Your dad was indicted for something. And what? Now tell me again, what happened with those charges?
he was found not guilty. It was abuse of power. Um it it, it I read an article. It said that this is now on steroids, is targeted uh, operation under. I feel like it's happening all over, but I just don't have an office, to be honest with you.
It is
He was
happening.
found
It's
not guilty.
happening across this nation. It is
Uh,
happening in real time, and in real time, people are dying. This is,
yes.
folks. This is if you watch the Minority Report, you think it's a movie? No, it is a textbook of what's going on in Pasco County.
Yeah.
This predictive policing. So if you take the Minority Report and the Purge and blend those two together, and you've got community-oriented policing.
Yes.
And 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 America, this is not America as long as we have this program, and people cannot concentrate on that because it's the dollar. And now, more important, with inflation, gas, and groceries, it's impossible to survive for many people.
Mm-hmm.
Nearly impossible, including yours truly here. And it's hard for people to step away from the trough of money and in
Yes.
this perfect paradigm of what happened after the election and COVID and so forth. I mean,
Yeah.
it was like a light switch. We had an election, we had a changing of the guard, and we officially went to hell in a handbasket.
Yes.
That it's that
Yes.
simple. So
Mm-hmm.
it's that's the say. Well, keep us informed,
Yes.
and anything or if you get any information back on the
Yeah.
request you've made with Pasco County and anything like that. And if you don't have anything new to report, we're gonna get back on here soon. I
Okay.
hadn't had time to read this lawsuit yet, and so I'm gonna read that, and I'm sure I'm going to want you back on here, and I want to talk about that.
Sure.
And
Yeah, anytime.
have you read it? Now you sent me
Yes.
a link. Have you read the lawsuit?
Yes, I went through it. I've scanned through it and
Yeah,
highlighted
it,
some things.
it's a, it is a. So let me do that as well.
Okay.
And when we
Okay.
come back on here, we're going to talk about that. Okay.
All right. Sounds
And
good.
folks,
Thank.
this is again Brandi Short in Pasco County, Florida, and I'm Richard Moore. Contact information is in the description. Let me hear from you. Until next time, God bless you. We'll talk to you later, Brandi.
Okay. Thank you. Bye
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 bye.
now.